We'll just do a couple more. Any other Georgia folks who haven't asked a question before we go on? We'll do a couple national. Sir.
Senator, the former lieutenant governor spoke at the DNC, had some choice words about the former president.
I saw that too.
We also know that Brian Kemp has also had some tough things to say about the former president. What's your reaction to these top Republicans from the state having reservations about the president and telling other Republicans to dump Trump?
Well, look, first of all, of course Tim Walz is going to attack Donald Trump because Tim Walz doesn't have a record to stand on. What I found very interesting, did anybody watch Tim Walz's speech? Okay, good. I was going to lose a lot of respect for you if you had said yes. If you watched Tim Walz's speech, it's part of my job, so I had to. You know what he never did? He never once said, I know we've got some train noise in the background here, so I'll try to be loud, but he never, it's the Trump train. That's right, ma'am. God bless you. What Tim Walz never once said is, Kamala Harris accomplished this thing that lowered the cost of housing. Kamala Harris accomplished this thing that lowered the cost of groceries. Kamala Harris accomplished this thing that have made America more peaceful and more secure. And he couldn't say that because Kamala Harris has caused the very policies that have made Americans' lives worse over the last few years. Kamala Harris caused the open border and caused the inflation crisis. And so it is telling that a person who has been vice president for 3.5 years, her argument and the argument of her surrogates is, we're going to do things better when I get power. She's had power for 3.5 years and she's made everything worse. That is the most simple and obvious fact of Tim Walz's speech, is he can't run on a record because the record is bad. Now, look, I actually talked to Brian Kemp very briefly earlier today, and yeah, you know, I read the headlines. Brian Kemp and Donald Trump have had some disagreements. I am 100% guarantee you that Brian Kemp is behind this ticket. He wants us to win because he believes the policies of Kamala Harris are disastrous for this country, and he's exactly right about that. So I'm glad to have the governor's support. I'm glad to have any Democrat, any independent, any moderate Republican or conservative Republican. We want anybody who believes in common sense to join the Trump train because that's what's going to save this country.